WrestlePro fans, I am longtime independent wrestling fan Robert. Return to Rahway was a great show from the Rahway Recreation Center, which I believe was the first time WrestlePro had an event there in a matter of months. It was my first time in the building since early 2018. I was so glad to be back in the building for the first time in ages, seemingly. We start the night with a pre-show match as we see Vargas, accompanied ring by Jay Enterprise, defeat Jimmy Romer. Then the main show begins with overtime TJ Crawford as he defeated Retro AG Anthony Green in a very good opening matchup. Next up in singles competition we see Gigolo Justin. I guess the Heavenly Bodies are no more. Maybe Desirable Justin isn't wrestling anymore. But Gigolo Justin ended up defeating the Iceberg Dion Roosman, who by the way had a great showing in this matchup, and hopefully Dion Roosman will be back for future WrestlePro events. Next up was a triple threat match as we see Sean Donovan versus the handsome devil Alex Reynolds versus Buster Jackson in there. And I forgot how the match ended, but Buster Jackson did defeat Sean Donovan and Alex Reynolds. After the match, I didn't catch it, but I think Reynolds threw fire in Buster's face, and the referees had to help him out of the ring. And right then and there, Reynolds took the microphone, and everybody's chanting "asshole" at him, and I responded to the crowd by saying everybody has one through my megaphone. Reynolds basically talked about his recent fame of competing in Madison Square Garden on SmackDown, where he was in a tag team match against Heavy Machinery. And Reynolds said he was putting WrestlePro on notice, and he said, you know, whenever you play with the devil, you eventually get burned. And then he left the ring. Next up, we had a singles matchup as we see Chrissy Vane was set to do battle with Chris Statlander, and ring announcer Dave Sturchill realized that something is missing, and that's a referee, and out came former Impact Wrestling star Scarlett Bordeaux, decked out in stripes. And the match was on, and Chrissy Vane defeated Chris Statlander, and after the match, Statlander was like face to face with Bordeaux, and Bordeaux eventually started going at it with Statlander. I forgot what happened at that point in time. Next up, we saw a tag team action as we saw Kevin Matthews and Falaba defend the tag team championship against Big Deal Craig Steele and Dastardly Danny Doring, collectively known as Dastardly Steel. And the match was on, and both Danny and Craig wearing like matching gear. Danny Doring took one of the tag team championship belts. Referee Stephen Dumang grabbed it and stopped him, and they're having tug of war with that one belt, to the point where Dumang is knocked down by the ropes, and as he's trying to bring the belt back over to the commentator's table, where Dave Sturchill and I forgot the manager's name. I apologize for that. I don't know if he's even managing anymore. And while that happened, Craig took the other championship belt, hit Falaba in the face, and I forgot it was him or Danny scored the pin on Falaba, and as a result, Dastardly Steel are the new WrestlePro Tag Team Champions. Next up, in a very good matchup, we see the Bayonne Badass Dan Moff go one-on-one with the bad boy Joey Janella, which would be Janella's final match in Rahway, being that he's now part of All Elite Wrestling. These guys, oh boy, had some matchup, and surprisingly, Janella kicked out of not one, not two, but three burning hammers. And Moff at one point kicked out of a Canadian destroyer, or if you would just call it a destroyer these days. And I forgot how, but Joey Janela pinned Dan Moff, and Janela talked about what went on in the past, where he was Starman, and like I said, everything's a blur after these shows are over. But it was a very heartfelt speech, and Moff had brought his nephew over to the apron, and his nephew had recently had undergone brain surgery, and he made it to the show, and the crowd chanted his name. Very touching of Moff to do that. They did go to intermission at that point. From there, we resumed the action with a mixed tag team match, which saw Nikos Ricos and Vicious Vicky. They ended up defeating LSG and Gabby Ortiz. After the match, well, Vicky had pinned Gabby with her feet on the ropes, but after the match ended, LSG takes a microphone and he tells Ricos, "See what I got here?" And it was the on-the-spot title shot medal that LSG won earlier this year. And he's saying to Ricos, "Hey, I'm cashing this in right now for your silver championship." But then all of a sudden, out comes Chris Avery Kuling donning a mask, and he attacks Ricos from behind, throws him into the ring. The bell rings, LSG hits a 450 splash from the top rope, and as a result, LSG defeated Nikos Ricos to become the new WrestlePro Silver Champion. Next, in a singles matchup, freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy defeated Bobby Wayward. I don't know why Wayward still comes out to that old Untouchables entrance music. Then, next up was the Student Rookie Battle Royal, which was won by a guy named, I do apologize if I got his name wrong, Anthony Partona. He ended up winning the Battle Royal. Among other participants that I recognized were Carlo Vice, Utah, Slade, Riker. I apologize if I got his name wrong. Dang it. It was a guy, like, I don't know if he had the letters SN on his mask, and he was like doing ninja tags. He was limiting most of the competition. Oh, another guy I recognized, Prince Josiah, was in this Battle Royal. And the ninja had thrown Anthony, the eventual winner, over the top rope, but he held on, and he takes the mask off. It was none other than Sean Donovan, but Anthony eliminates Sean Donovan to end up winning the Battle Royal. And then in the main event of the night, we see it was the Buzzkiller, Pat Buck, the Bad Apple, current gold champion Matt McIntosh, and VSK did battle with SCU, Christopher Daniels, Frankie Kazarian, and sorry about that, Christopher Daniels, Frankie Kazarian, and Scorpio Sky. Pretty good six-man tag team match, which saw SCU defeat VSK, Matt McIntosh, and Pat Buck. And after the match, most of the WrestlePro roster came out, including Anthony Bowens, who was scheduled to team with McIntosh and Buck in the six-man tag. So I don't know if he was injured or not medically cleared to compete. And I noticed a lot of the roster, and Buck was saying, you know, no matter how tough things are, don't give up, because he said he didn't give up, and he built WrestlePro and said, WrestlePro, it's not the end, it's just the beginning. And the fact that he's now a producer with World Wrestling Entertainment. Pat, I'm glad that while you were still with the New York Wrestling Connection, I was glad to do a no punches hold interview with you. It was pretty good, and you know, I just wish you nothing but the best, man. From wrestling, promoting, training, you're like a jack of all trades, and now a producer with the WWE. Isn't that something? That, ladies and gentlemen, that's proof that you can do it no matter what the situation is in life. Personal notes: hi, it was great seeing Rob Feinstein and Tim for the first time in ages. You know, Tim, I did ask if you had 3X shirts, and you said, I sure hope you get more size 3X shirts in the future when I catch you at future shows. And Rob, I don't know if you have any 3X t-shirts. I did notice you had 2X shirts of Bullet Club and Young Bucks shirts. Maybe, I know, Rob, I'll definitely have to order stuff from you in the mail since I don't see you too often. It was also great seeing Omar, John, one half of the WrestlePro Sign Girls. I wish the other one was there. I haven't seen her in a long time. It was definitely quite a crowd bless you. Quite a crowd for this very show. For this very show that WrestlePro had put on, and WrestlePro returns to St. Patrick's Gym in Brooklyn, New York for a double dose of WrestlePro action as they present the first ever Dream 16 tournament. Hold that thought. Yes, as mentioned, the Dream 16 tournament. The first round matches are as followed. Sean Donovan versus Evander James. Anthony Bowens versus Max Striker. The Handsome Devil Alex Reynolds versus Overtime TJ Crawford. In a Battle of Monsters, Kyle the Beast against the Bayonne Badass Dan Moff. Current gold champion Matt McIntosh one-on-one with Matt Sydal. Bobby Wayward's going to have his work cut out for him as he goes up against Nick fucking Gage. And newly crowned silver champion LXG Leon St. Giovanni will face the now recently dethroned silver champion Nikos Rikos. No, I'm sure more matches will be announced between now and October 11th, as well as October 12th. WrestlePro will return to the Columbia Club in Union, New Jersey on Thursday, September 26th with Shotgun Thursday Night, and among matches on that one will be the Abominable CPA one-on-one with Nick fucking Gage. However, they return to Rahway, New Jersey on Saturday, November 16th as they present One for All, which will feature an appearance by legendary pro wrestling journeyman and original member of the Four Horsemen, the Enforcer, AA, Arn Anderson. Matches already announced for that night will be JT Dunn going one-on-one with Dan Moff. Matt Cross making his WrestlePro debut in a three-way match with Anthony Bowens and Overtime TJ Crawford. Allison Kay, formerly known as Sienna, will make her return November 16th. Also, we have gold champion Matt McIntosh that night will defend his character against Brian Pillman Jr. Is there any other matches I know that are announced for November 16th?
Newark Penn Station, Newark, New Jersey is next.
Actually, yeah, a first-time ever matchup in women's action. It'll be Tennille Dashwood one-on-one with Scarlett Bordeaux. Unfortunately, I will not be able to attend All for One November 16th, but I will be at the Dream 16 tournament on Friday, October 11th and Saturday, October 12th. But I should really do this, I think, because sadly, I haven't really followed WrestlePro too often. But I gotta say, I just hope I can start this chance, especially October 11th and 12th. WrestlePro, 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 WrestlePro. See you at the Dream 16.